Welcome you all. I shall continue the discussion on thermal stresses. Last time I had told you the concept of thermal stresses, when we have thermal stresses, when we will not have thermal stresses, all that I had told you. That we shall put it now, apply it and solve a couple of problems. The problems you already have, the problems have appeared in I have picked them from the ones from the question papers. You already have them. You will read it together and try to solve them. Okay. So one of the problem goes like this. The one what you see right now on the board is second problem, which I shall take up the next one. The first problem, I have chosen intentionally simple ones, and maybe in the next class I shall take up another problem which require little bit of understanding. Okay, probably maybe towards the end of this class itself, if I get time, I shall also touch upon that. This is from January 2014. There is a question, part of the question, and it is for 9 marks. Quite simple, and we shall read it together. You also can read it loud along with me. Rails are laid such that there is no stress in them at 24 degrees centigrade. Rails, rail track, you all know. I hope you have seen them, and if you have not seen, I expect you to go and see. So walk a couple of meters and see how they are laid. So you have a long length, and then you have a small gap between another rail. Okay, you have small gap between every two rails. So only one side you observe it. Rails are laid such that there is no stress in them at 24 degrees centigrade. That means they are laid at 24 degrees centigrade. If the rails are 32 meter long, each rail is 32 meters long, determine. Okay, so what is the length of the rail? 32 meters, and it is laid at 24 degrees Celsius. And based on this information, and you have a couple of things, 3 things to be asked. The one is the stress in the rails at 80 degrees centigrade when there is no allowance for expansion. The rails are kept just adjacent to one another so that there is no gap between them. And in that case, what stresses are induced if the temperature goes to 80 degrees centigrade? 80 degrees centigrade is quite high. I don't know how they have made it so huge value. Anyway, we are supposed to calculate it. The second case, the stresses in the rails at 80 degrees centigrade when there is an expansion allowance of 8 mm per rail. Between two rails you have 8 mm. I shall make a drawing also. 8 mm, and in that case what stresses are induced? This is second case. The third one, the expansion allowance, determine the expansion allowance. You are supposed to find out what should be the gap between the two rails so that no stress is induced in the rails at 80 degrees centigrade. Apart from this, you also have what are called as a coefficient of linear expansion alpha and Young's modulus E. These are also given. We shall write down the data. What is that? That is T1 at what temperature? Okay, this is 24 degrees centigrade, and you have what's called as L1. This is 32 meters. 32 meters, and if you want it in millimeter, 32 into 10 raised to 3 millimeter. This is the information. So common for all the 3 cases, what you have is coefficient of linear expansion alpha, which is 11 into 10 raised to minus 6 per degree centigrade. If you multiply this, L is in meters, then you get it in meters. If you get the substitute in millimeter, you will get it in millimeter. So then you also have this one as Young's modulus of elasticity, which is equal to 205 GPa, gigapascal. The same thing is 2.05 into 10 raised to 5. Giga means take out 10 raised to 9. Out of that 10 raised to 9, take out 10 raised to 3. so that you will have megapascal. 10 raised to 3 into these two places. That's why 10 raised to 5. Megapascal is the same as Newton per millimeter square. So in our problems, most of the times we take load, force in terms of Newton and all other dimensions in terms of millimeter. Newton and millimeter will be very happy with that. Okay. So with this, we have something. So I hope you remember the formula. What is called as delta L? What is delta L? What is called as free expansion. Okay, this is a free expansion. How do you calculate it? This is alpha into L into delta T. Okay, this is what? Okay, in the first case, what is that? The temperature rises to 80 degrees centigrade. T2 is 80 degrees centigrade now. The temperature has gone to 80 degrees centigrade. And when there is no allowance for expansion. Okay, how the rails are for this diagram. Okay, let me assume that this is the starting point of the rail. So this is how one rail you have. And this length is 32 meters. Then where is the next rail? There is no gap between the two. And you have another one. So another rail which is also at whose length is 32 meters. Then another one like this. So this is how. So anyway, it doesn't, the free expansion doesn't bother whether there is a gap or there is no gap. So we shall calculate what is delta T in this case now. Delta T is 80 minus 24 is equal to so many degrees Celsius. I shall not calculate, I shall leave it to you. You will do that. Maybe simultaneously along with me you can do it. Delta T you can find out. Then you find out what is called as the free expansion, delta L. You assume for a while that, okay, you have only one rail. You assume that you have only one rail. If these rails are not there, what would have been expansion? This end would have undergone some extension. So delta L is equal to alpha into delta T into L. What is alpha? Alpha, as you know, I shall substitute for one of them. 11 into 10 raised to minus 6. And what is delta T? 80 minus 20, 60. 60 minus 4. This is 56. And L is 32 meters. 32 into 10 raised to 3 millimeters. This is degrees Celsius. This is millimeter. And you simplify this. You get so many millimeter. Okay, so this is the expansion if it is allowed to undergo. Okay, now in our present case, so whether this expansion is it allowed? So none of this expansion is allowed because we don't have any gap between the two rails and therefore all this is restricted. How is it restricted? By allowing, there is a pressure, there is a force which will be offering by the other rail, will push it back, and that delta L is equal to PL divided by A into E. So this is what I had shown last time. So you have something like this, one bar, and if it is allowed to undergo free expansion, then this is what is called as delta L. Now if this free expansion is not allowed, then there is a force which is going to be induced, that is P, and what does it do? It will bring this delta L to 0. So what is this P? P is the force which is responsible for compressing this much. So it is same thing what I have done. So you know delta L, whatever is this value. Then you know L is 32 into 10 raised to 3 millimeter. You know area, okay. So anyway, I require P by A, stress itself I require, therefore I don't have to calculate P and A separately. Okay, so I shall simplify what is P by A. P by A is equal to delta L into E divided by L. So delta L you know this value, E you know whatever that 2.05 10 raised to 5 and L is 32 into 10 raised to 3. You calculate this is so many Newton per millimeter square. This is the stress. This is the first case what I wanted you to solve it. I hope you have understood. I am going to rub it very soon and I hope you have it. Okay, so then let me go to the second one. What is the second one? Now the rails are laid with certain gap is there in between. So how much gap is there? So you have rails now. Let me call this as second case. Okay, you have one 32-meter rail. Then you have a certain gap. How much is this gap? This is 8 mm. Then you have another one, another 32 meters. Then again you have 8 mm, and then another 32 meters like this. Okay, so in this case, what is that? How much is the stress? Determine the stress again at 80 degrees centigrade. So T2 is 80 degrees centigrade. And therefore delta T is equal to 80 minus 24. This is equal to 56 degrees centigrade. When there is an expansion, okay, then immediately I should calculate what is the free expansion. Don't worry about all that. Okay, if it is allowed to undergo free expansion, what is that? So you know what is alpha, you know what is delta T, you know here. So you have just calculated for the first case, it remains the same thing. This is a free expansion. So find out this delta L. So whether this delta L is more than 8 mm or less than 8 mm. Okay. So I don't have calculator and therefore I don't know. So now, so check if delta L is less than or equal to 8 mm. That means your immediate answer is no stresses are induced. That means whatever the free expansion that is going to take place, that is freely allowed. We are not stopping it, we are not restricting it, and hence no stresses. I don't know whether you have this case or not. Delta L, if it is more than 8 mm, then stresses are induced. Okay? If delta L is greater than 8 mm, if delta L is more than 8 mm, then what? Then what? So the expansion, okay, up to 8 mm, so the free expansion is allowed. And therefore, so your delta L, whatever you have this value, minus 8 mm. So this is the length which you are restricting. Delta L minus 8 is equal to P divided by A into L into E. So in this case, again I want only directly P by A. I don't need to find out P and A separately. So therefore, delta L minus 8, of course these are in millimeter, into E divided by L is equal to P by A. So this is what is sigma. Okay, so in the first case, I forgot to tell that one more thing. What is the nature of the stress? The nature of the stress in the first case is compressive because the expansion had taken place. We are compressing it and bringing it back to the original length. Therefore, the nature of the stress in the first case is compressive. And what about this? If at all this falls, this is the case. And in that case, this also is compressive. Sigma is compressive in nature. The stress, what is taking place is compressive. I hope you have understood. This is the second case. I think that, so now understanding this, the third case is quite simple. So please read the third case again. What is asked? Determine is common there at the top. Determine what? Determine the expansion allowance. What should be the gap between the two? Determine the expansion allowance for no stress in the rails. For no stress. The third case. Third case, delta L is again equal to, so what is it? The temperature, third case is T2 equal to 80 degrees centigrade. Therefore, delta T is 56 degrees centigrade. Okay, so I shall find out what is delta L is equal to alpha, you know delta T, you know L. Okay, alpha, delta T, L is 32 meters. All that you will find out what should be this. So much. So I want, okay, sigma equal to 0. I don't want any stress. So when do you get that? That is nothing but if delta L is less than or equal to delta. If delta L is less than or equal to delta, please remember this delta is not 8. This delta is the one which we are finding out. Okay, what is the meaning of this? You have something like this. This is 132 meters. Then you have a gap of delta. Then you have the next rail. Then again you have a gap of delta. Then you have the next rail. This delta is asked in this problem. Don't get confused that 8 mm and in this case. You are asked to find out what is delta. So sigma is 0 if delta L is less than or equal to 8 mm. Therefore, so I want sigma equal to 0. Therefore, delta is whatever is the maximum value that is equal to delta. What you want is equal to delta L. And therefore, so that no stresses are induced. So quite simple. It is based exactly on the same lines what we had understood while understanding the concept of this. Remember, this carries 9 marks. The whole thing I don't think it will take more than 6 or 7 minutes. It is only substitution, and therefore the problems are quite simple and highly reliable from the examination point of view. Now shall go to another problem which has been sent to you. You already have that problem. So this also is a question which has been taken from the examination. Okay, this is from January 2016, 10 ME 34. Okay, I hope you understand 10 means it is 10 scheme. So it doesn't matter, the content of the syllabus is almost same irrespective of the title of the course, etc. Okay, I shall again go through. So the problem is diagrammatically represented. The diagram is essential for understanding this. Here also I have a bar. So bar is made of two materials. Okay. So before we start reading, I'm giving a little bit of introduction. So it is made of two materials. One portion of the bar is made of steel. The other portion is made of aluminium. Okay, so any bar, I hope you know what is meant by bar. Bar is a long member having smaller cross-sectional dimensions and subjected to axial load. Okay, so if it is made of only one material, then we just call it as bar. And by chance that bar is made of different materials like this, more than one material. Here we have two materials. And such bar, which is made of two materials, we call it as compound bar or composite bar. Very common word. And next couple of hours we are going to discuss this compound bar, which is also called as composite bar. Okay, this is the simplest way of doing a composite bar. You have one portion and attaching another portion. So next problem, probably I shall have one material inside another material. Okay, imagine that this aluminum is also 300 mm and it goes inside the steel, and assuming that you have a hollow steel tube and inside that aluminium. Okay, and that kind of problem also I would like to discuss in the next numerical probably. Okay, I hope you understand this bar is called as compound bar, and we don't have to give much importance at this stage for this problem. Okay, this is steel and this is aluminium. So you have the properties of steel and aluminium, they have been listed here. Okay, then what is asked? So the other parts of the problem, let us discuss. Okay, so this end is fixed here. You have steel for 300 mm and you have aluminium for 200 mm. There is a small gap here. The gap is very, very small compared to this 300 mm, 200 mm. It is only 0.2 mm. But to make things clear, I have highlighted as if this point 2 is quite large. I have shown here this gap is 0.2 mm. Okay, so now let us come back. What is the problem? For the stepped bar shown in figure, okay, for the stepped bar, because we have two steps. This is 40 mm diameter, this is 30 mm diameter. 40 mm diameter and 30 mm diameter for a stepped bar. What is the maximum temperature rise? What is the maximum temperature rise which will not produce stress in the bar? Very simple to the previous problem. The second case, I think, not second case, first case, not first case, second case. Okay. So what is here delta T? I don't know what is the present temperature. T1 is not given, but you are asked to find out what temperature rise. So therefore you are being asked what is delta T. So therefore you are asked to find out what is delta T. What temperature rise is permitted so that I shall not have any stress in the bar. This is the first part of the problem. For the stepped bar shown in figure, what is the maximum temperature rise which will not produce stress in the bar? Okay. The remaining part of the problem, that will be the second case. I can divide again the problem though it is not given. The first part, okay, what temperature rise so that I shall not have any stress. So very simple. So again I will calculate what is the free expansion of the bar. So as we know that the expansion in the length shall not have any effect on the area of cross section of the bar. Okay, in our calculation, so if you remember, alpha is equal to delta L divided by L into delta T. Here the area term is not there, and therefore, so whether it is 40 mm or 30 mm, and therefore it doesn't matter. So it is only temperature change which shall increase the length of the steel bar, which shall increase the length of the aluminium bar. I want this entire thing is our bar. Okay, so I would like to calculate what is the free expansion of that bar. So probably I can divide it. The free expansion of the entire bar is the sum of the free expansion of the steel bar and the free expansion of the aluminium bar. So very simple. So what is the free expansion of the steel bar? This is equal to alpha ST into delta T, which is common, into LST, plus this is alpha of aluminium into delta T into L of aluminium. Okay, so let me calculate this. Delta T I shall take common, and I don't know this. So what is alpha ST? Alpha ST is 12 into 10 raised to minus 6. And what is LST? LST, it is given in the diagram, it is 300 mm plus alpha aluminium, it is 18 into 10 raised to minus 6 into L aluminium, which is 200 mm. So this is equal to, okay, this is equal to whatever the value you calculate here, simplify this multiplied by delta T. And this is the free expansion. The free expansion depends upon what is the temperature rise, how much temperature rises. Okay, now what is the second part? Okay, this delta L, depending upon delta T. If delta T is 5, then you have certain value. If delta T is 10, then you have certain value. If delta T is 20, then you have certain value. Okay, depending upon the delta T is, then you have certain value of delta L. Okay, now what I have one more condition. I don't want to have stress in the bar. Okay, for sigma to be 0. Okay, what is that? Delta L should be less than or equal to what is delta? This delta is a gap. Okay, what is delta L? Delta L is whatever is this value into delta T. This should be less than or equal to delta. How much is that? that is 0.2 millimeter. So what is delta T? Delta T should be less than or equal to 0.2 divided by this. You will get so many degrees centigrade. So delta T is this. So what is asked? What is the maximum rise? So what is the maximum value of delta T? That is nothing but this. So maximum value of delta T is this value. So many degrees centigrade. In that case, the stresses are not induced. I hope it's clear. This is the first case. Then the second case. So without nothing I can complete it. What is the second case? Also find the stress induced when the temperature rise is 40 degrees Celsius. Okay, now the second case, delta T is 40 degrees centigrade. Okay, immediately the same thing. What is delta L? Delta L is equal to alpha St, that is 12. So alpha delta L St plus delta L aluminium. Okay, what is this? Alpha St into delta T into L St plus alpha aluminium into delta T into L aluminium. Okay, you know all the values, you can calculate this. So many millimeter. But this is the free expansion. Okay, so then immediately if delta L is less than or equal to 0.2 millimeter. Okay, so no stresses. You don't have to write down this step. Please remember, you have this value. Since I don't have this value, I am writing it. Okay, if your value is more than 0.2, then you don't have to write it. You can go directly to the next step. If your value is less than this, then immediately you write this delta as instead of if, as delta L is less than this, and hence no stresses are induced. Okay, so now in our case, the second. Now, okay, if assuming that delta L is more than 0.2 mm, then delta L divided minus 0.2 mm is equal to P into L divided by A into E. So again you have a problem. Okay, so I have here what A I have to take, what is L, what is E. So this is same as, this is equal to P is common. If I apply a force at this end, what I mean is, assuming that it goes beyond 0.2, so the bar, if it is allowed, it will come up to here. Okay, now it cannot cross this, therefore there is a force here. That force is compressive force. Therefore, both the members are subjected to compressive stress. So what that P L upon AE is nothing but this. So this is the P compressive force that is acting on aluminium, and the same compressive force is acting on steel also. So therefore, this right hand side P, I shall take it common. It is for aluminium. So L of steel divided by area of steel into EST plus L of aluminium, A of aluminium into E of aluminium. So you know what is left hand side, you know delta L minus 0.2, you know this value. And LST, AST, EST, all these things are known, and from this what do you find out? You have to find out so many P is equal to so many Newton. Then what is the stress in the aluminium? The P divided by area of the aluminium, that will give you sigma aluminium. So P divided by area of the steel, that will give you what is the stress in the steel. So this is how you can calculate, very simple. And this question carries 10 marks. Okay, so therefore the questions are quite simple, and we shall take up what is meant by composite bar if the material is one inside the other. Okay, a slightly twisting problem we shall take up in the next class. Thank you.